You're gonna love it.
Like, what is that? This egg! We were just absolutely astounded by how safe it is.
I don't think you know what you're talking about. The Japanese don't speak any damn English.
Taipei to me, was up there with any one of those maybe European cities, like very westernized.
Hey, 大家好，我是 Justin 教授。今天非常的开心，我的妹妹终于又出现。Sam, we're going to be talking about the first time you went to Taiwan and then the second time.
First time I went to Taiwan, I was 13 years old. First time I'd been abroad, I was very excited about it. It's a long, long flight, and we got into the car, and I think it took us about 10 hours to get from the airport to the house. I remember we stopped somewhere, and I thought that we'd come to a motorbike shop for my brother to buy a motorbike.
A motorbike shop, why?
Because there was just so many motorbikes. I'd never seen that many motorbikes in my life. So all I could think was that was a motorbike shop. It was just the people parked outside the store.
And that was like 1994. So you were 14 at the time. So 我妹妹那时候才13岁，第一次来到台湾，就大概1992的时候。And when we got to my apartment, what did you think?
I remember it being like very small. We're not used to that in South Africa because we have huge properties with big gardens. But I do remember my mother telling me that when she first went to visit Justin, she got to Taiwan and she got into his apartment and she burst into tears because she was just so depressed and so upset that her son was living in these living conditions. But
You're talking to my Taiwanese audience.
we thought he was living in the slums.
Like 平民白富翁。那时候我真的是住的比较简陋。不是每个教授都很有钱，我那时候很穷啊，现在其实还是很穷。
But what I do remember I really enjoyed is I think it was like a video store and a sweet shop or something like that nearby. And I remember I could walk from the apartment to the video store and buy some food. And I really enjoyed that because in South Africa, it's not very safe to do that. We would have never been allowed to walk from our house to a shop ourselves. So that was very exciting.
I mean, you were in Taiwan. You couldn't even speak Chinese.
Yeah.
And we've just let you go out. I remember you loved something very much in Taiwan.
Oh, I remember. 木瓜牛奶.
木瓜牛奶。我妹妹爱吃木瓜牛奶，真的是爱吃。
It was just like a delicious milkshake.
We got to talk about food. So I've brought you some things to try. The first one is 各位，我没有跟我妹妹说，这个是芋头，可是里面有蛋黄，然后那个蛋黄是有煮过的。但我跟你们讲，外国人会觉得这个非常的怪，我不跟他说。So this is a delicious taro dessert.
I like dessert. So what is in here?
Sweet taro.
Okay.
It's amazing. 我在骗他 You're gonna love it.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Looking forward to it.
You like it? I think you need to bite a bit deeper.
That's actually really good. Not too sweet.
Not too sweet?
Almost like a puff pastry type.
Yeah. Go a little bit deeper.
Okay. Is there chocolate inside?
There could be a chocolate.
Okay.
有可能有巧克力在里面 You gotta go deeper.
Yeah. What is that? This egg! Egg inside a sweet.
You don't like it?
No. I mean, I don't even like my eggs runny for breakfast, let alone in a dessert.
This happened to me when I first went to Taiwan.
I must say that the outside is quite nice.
You can put it back in. I'm not going to force you to eat it. Or is the egg growing on you?
No. The egg isn't, but the outside is.
That was a trick. But the next one is really, really nice. This is a 奶油酥饼. This is like a milk tart. There won't be any egg in it. 奶油酥饼. 喝假的喝. 这个没有骗他.
That's amazing. Very, very nice. Very nice. Trying these foods reminds me of another Taiwan experience from my first trip that really stood out in my mind. Where you were teaching English, right? So you had a lot of students who were very wealthy. So we were very excited, I think, the one night to go to what I think was like a very top-end restaurant. And we sat down, and I think the first course that came was shark fin soup, which was absolutely awful. It might have been swallow's nest and shark fin, yeah.
Yes.
But now because these very kind people were taking us to a very expensive, restaurant to treat us, we couldn't be impolite. So we had to sit there eating the soup, pretending that we liked it. But actually it was the worst thing that we'd ever tasted. But also some very delicious food. We really enjoy the noodles. We went to visit some really beautiful places. One of the places we went to was Kenting. I remember when we got to Taiwan for the first time, we were told as we got to the apartment that we must leave our shoes outside the house before we go in, which I didn't mind too much, but I did find it a bit of a hassle. We're not used to that. In South Africa, we around our homes with our shoes on, no problem. And being a very difficult teenager, you know how teenage girls can be, I did find it a bit of a hassle to have to take off my shoes before I went into the apartment. Anyhow, I respected it when we were at your house, but when we went to Kenting, we stayed in a hotel. So I thought, well, we're in a hotel. It's not my brother's home. It's no problem. I can keep my shoes on. So I think I walked into the hotel room very excited and hopped onto the bed, jumped onto the bed with my shoes on. My brother walked in and he freaked out that I had my shoes on a bed. I was like, well, what's the big deal? And I got really, really upset, as a teenager does, and I actually ran out of the hotel and ran into the streets of Kenting, where I knew nothing. I didn't know where we were. I didn't know where I was going. I can't actually remember where I went or what I did. That was quite funny. I remember enjoying it. But what I actually have clearer memories of visually was the mountain, Alisan. I think we walked up the mountain in the early morning. It might have been the early morning or the early evening, but I remember it being very, very cold. And the highlight of that, getting to the top, was I think it was hot chocolate or something that we could have at the top. So I loved that trip.
4 years ago when we got married, you guys came to Taiwan again. And this was something entirely different.
So that was a very different experience. My brother had really upgraded his lifestyle. So better apartment, yeah, very much like we would be used to in South Africa in one of the main cities. Again, we were just absolutely astounded by how safe it is, and every night we would walk down to the restaurants to have something to eat or get takeaways, again something we would never be able to do in South Africa. So the one thing that really stood out for us was how friendly the Taiwanese people are. I think everywhere we went, people are smiling, friendly, helpful. English, I think, not always as good. Before we came to Taiwan, we went to Japan. We were very impressed by how much English was spoken in Japan. So I think we expected similar in Taiwan.
Did you find that to be true? I find it the complete opposite. I find the Taiwanese speak better English than the Japanese do. Far better.
Yeah, maybe I'm talking shit.
I don't think you know what you're talking about. She's speaking nonsense. The Japanese don't speak any damn English. Have you ever felt unsafe in Taiwan?
No, never, ever, ever.
Would you feel safe letting your kids walk around Taiwan?
Very, very safe, yeah.
But after coming to Taiwan this time, your experience, of course, food-wise was also entirely different. I don't think you ever ate anything that you didn't like this time.
No, we really did enjoy the food. We really did, yeah.
Could you see yourself visiting Taiwan again?
Yeah, definitely. We've got 2 young girls, aged 2 and 3. So I'd love to bring them to experience it one day. I think what I also really, really enjoyed this last time was visiting Taipei. So I know you live just about half an hour outside of Taipei. But Taipei, to me, the second time that I visited Taiwan, I've lived in London, so I've traveled all around Europe and been to all the sort of major European cities. Taipei, to me, was up there with any one of those major European cities, like very westernized. I mean, I feel I could happily live in Taipei if I needed to.
我的妹有一个特质，很会学中文，她的口音都算不错。我们来看她有没有办法学习。请记得订阅、分享。
请记得
订阅、分享。请记得订阅、分享。
请记得订阅、分享。
分享。好，谢谢大家，我们下次再见，拜拜。
拜。